It is I, Rasco, your host of the Rasco and Disco Beer Show. And we've got a stomper tonight. We are sinking the Titanic, ladies and gentlemen. We are sinking the Titanic. We have got beers in from Titanic Brewery. I had to hesitate there. Excuse me. I just need to pick up a water bottle before it spills everywhere, because we wouldn't want that to happen again. And yeah, we've got a guest. He's going to be joining us. Signal. Hi. How you doing? James Brownsell. Hi. Hi. And we've got a guest. He's just sent me a message on this Instagram, and I'm going to have struggled looking that up. And Disco's joining us. Yes, so off we go. Here we go. Go. All right. Send invite to Disco. Right. Inviting Disco. Go on Instagram. Here, let's invite the guest as well. And ladies and gentlemen, can I have a standing ovation? Not for Disco, but for... Hey!
Good evening.
What a joint entrance. What a great entrance. Yes, Rasco, good evening. Crumby, good evening. How are you doing, sir?
Evening. I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you guys?
Not too bad. I must admit, a little bit wobbly. I had some big beers earlier. Might have been a little mistake, but the show must go on. I promise I'll be fine. I've got my plums all in a row, ready to go.
Excellent. Good effort. I didn't have anything earlier, but last night was quite a big night. I got a bit carried away, and I walked into a pub I've been to quite a few times, and generally I've been a bit underwhelmed with their selection. Occasionally you get a bit of a gem, and I walked in last night, and I'm not lying when I said there was probably 7 or 8 top tier beers all on tap. I was like, okay, this is problematic.
Any problem?
Yeah, but we're okay. We're good now. So.
Good stuff.
Fantastic. I'm glad. Do you want to introduce yourself to anyone who doesn't know who you are? I believe Signal Brewery, one of my local breweries who let me do some filming this week, is watching. So introduce yourself, please.
Awesome. Well, my name's Tom. I'm the Crummy Beard. I do slightly inept beer reviews on YouTube, amongst other things. I just like messing around on the internet and talking to people, mainly about beer. I think that's probably the most concise introduction I can give. That's really about it. And I really love Plum Porter, which is why the show has been taken over by it somewhat, I suspect, today.
That's a great and very succinct introduction. I think a lot of people on this, there's a lot of people have joined, and thank you to everybody who's joined, and we may or may not get around to the comments as they scroll down because it's difficult. But I know we've asked you this before, but if anybody doesn't know, can we just check again why the Crumby Beard has a name? Because it invokes a lot of like confusion and mispronunciations.
Yeah, it does. It was a terrible branding exercise on my part, wasn't it?
Or a great one, whichever way.
Well, yeah. I mean, the beard part was fairly obvious. I just wanted. I didn't necessarily want to name the channel purely after myself, and didn't want it to be. I wanted it to be a bit of a laugh, light-hearted, and then the crummy part of it was a bit of a little bit multifaceted. So the very first video I did on YouTube was actually based around biscuits, because I don't know why. Excellent. But it was also kind of a bit of a double meaning in that the content I was trying to put out was maybe not too serious, therefore a little bit of crummy in the negative sense, but a bit tongue-in-cheek, if you like.
Okay, I've never gone with crummy. I've always thought it was Crumby. There's a B in there.
Okay. Well, as in crumbs, as in because it was going to be food and drink related.
Biscuits. I got you now. That's it. That's all the questions I have, Your Honour.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I didn't actually know that. We've never actually met in the virtual sense. Come to think of it.
No, only text to video on one side.
Yeah. I know you had Disco on your show some time ago. I'm sorry if the viewing rate went down and plummeted. I think you lost subscribers when you had him on, didn't you?
I lost the back end of that. You've gone a bit 8-bit.
It's a little bit traditional that we have at least some pixelization, usually of Rasco, It's like a tradition on the show. There wouldn't be a Rascal and Disco beer show without some pixelation or some complete catastrophe of technology. So,
That's it.
Brownsell. Hello, Mr. Brownsell.
I was just apologising, you know, when you had Disco on your show, about you lost subscribers, did you? I think you did, yes.
I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's true.
Fair enough.
We'd have to go. We'd have to delve back through some analytics, but no, Disco's been on a couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh Christ! I'm surprised you're still on YouTube. So when we get a fellow beer reviewer type on, we ask that you do a beer review in your style, and the way you do it, just as you would on YouTube. Rob from Hopzine got out of it, so I asked people to do it straight at the beginning. Okay. And don't worry, I've set you up. I've even got your music here to play.
Oh, I'm very impressed. Well done. I'm like that. Right. In that case, we need to decide what beer to drink first to do the review on. I'm kind of tempted to not start with the Plum Porter just because I know it so well. I think I don't know if you get this, but you know when you know a beer really, really well, you almost become a bit blind to it because it's so familiar.
Yes.
Which is why when I did review it, I did it alongside the reserve because I didn't feel like I didn't really want to do it just on its own because I just knew that I probably wouldn't do it justice. So, other couple of Titanic options, and I'm tempted to start with. It might be the wrong call, but the chocolate and vanilla stout. I've not tried that yet.
Oh, I've had that before. I don't have it in my box.
Okay.
Really?
I have the cappuccino stout.
Okay.
I have had that.
And the milk stout. I don't even have cherry dark. And when I went through the box, I thought, hang on, I've done something wrong here.
That's fine.
So I'm gonna,
okay. So it's your call, Tom. It's entirely your option.
I'm gonna start with that. I'll start with that one. And while I open it, I'll make some excuses now. In that my style, if you like, is quite heavily edited to allow for my inability to stumble over my own words and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be not quite the full experience, but hey, we'll give it our best go.
That's the beauty of live. It doesn't matter if you stumble a bit. We're live. We all understand that, and there's no in it, but just still carry on.
And just to clarify, do you want a quick review in the style of rather than the full 10 to 15 minute experience? Because that could take a while.
We've got the time, mate. Don't you worry.
We'll go. Okay. Well, if I find myself keeping going, we'll do it. But if not, we'll wrap it up sooner rather than later. I did obviously review Raggy's beer live on Thursday, but prior to that, I think I'd only done one beer review live before, or at least in one take, and realised that it's definitely not my best work. So I generally try and avoid it. So we'll see what's going. But let's get this poured out and see how we're looking. He's got it. There you go. Nice, almost slow-mo montage for you.
Yeah. I don't know if you just heard that.
I mean, as I've said, the reason I don't do live ones is because I always mess it up, and I've already messed it up because the order's wrong. But we'll patch it in anyway. This is the Rascal and Disco show where things go wrong. I don't know if you saw last week, but things went really wrong. So don't worry, you're here to get it wrong. In other words, don't worry. Enjoy yourself. Okay. Excellent.
Well, like I said, it's literally a tradition because we didn't hit half of what you said, Rasco. But I think what he's saying is literally a tradition that things go wrong in a Rasco and Disco beer show, and we just waffle through. We just get on with it basically. So,
awesome. Right, we'll give it a go. Let's do this. Right, well, welcome back to Rasco and Disco's beer reviews. I'm not either of them, but we'll carry on talking anyway. This is a chocolate and vanilla stout from Titanic Brewery, who you know if you watch my channel at all because I bang on about them all the time, particularly the Plum Porter. I've never tried this before. It says on the front, smooth, creamy and sweet, which is a trio of words that we like to hear together. And before we crack into it, here is a quick look at the bottle for you lovely people. I can't do the fancy zoom at this point, but we'll just ease it in for you there. That's a bad choice of words, isn't it? But we'll carry on. Right, in the glass, it has dissipated. The head's dissipated pretty quickly, and my lighting in here is well. I went for the subtle and moody, given that it's kind of falling into autumn with the plum porter colours behind me, but it's not done very well for showing this beer off. But it really is, despite the lack of light, absolutely pitch black. I can't see. Oh, there's the tiniest bit. If I hold it up to the ring light, which is very, very, very powerful, there's a tiny bit of red hue coming through. But I think under normal circumstances, you wouldn't really see an awful lot through it. Let's see what the aromas are saying. It's instantly got that milk stout sweetness. Now, I'm not sure if it is actually a lactose beer or not, but it's got that very reminiscent, feels like it's going to cling a bit, kind of stick to your palate. There's a tiny bit, despite not saying that, there's a tiny bit of coffee in there as well, just creeping in. It's almost, if you get a very straight up stout, it's got that ever so tiny sweet coffee creamer kind of thing going on. And the rest of it, this is why I cut my videos down, because it takes me too long to think about it, and I can't talk and think at the same time because I'm not that clever.
You're in good company then tonight.
The chocolate's pouring through. The vanilla's a bit lacking though on the nose, to be honest. It's yeah, really milk chocolatey. It's almost, if you've ever had like a European hot chocolate, like ski resort hot chocolate, it's got a bit of that kind of aroma about it. Which, let's be honest, is one of the best smelling things if you've ever had one going. So it's promising well. And that is really all I'm getting out of it. There's a bit of a hazelnutty thing. But that is really about it. So let's do it. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers, Crumby.
I'm glad I saved this because that is really good. that is wow. I mean, I know Titanic do everything pretty well, but that is a standout. That is a standout. Again, in the same nature of me not being able to do these live because I can't think and talk at the same time, trying to analyse a beer all in one mouthful, I find quite difficult. It's not really.
I was gonna say, mate. Back to your YouTube reviews. What I really like about your YouTube reviews is that they are edited, and that, as I find on this show, I think they're probably the better reviews we do, because beer changes as it goes down the glass,
for sure,
as it should.
Yeah. And
you literally do the whole glass, where some reviewers are just like 2-3 sips, bang, there you go.
Yeah.
But you take your time on it, and I really appreciate that. And I think that's very unique and a marvel of you.
Just a question from, yeah, what's the crack has asked, I was just going to say that, what beer are you sipping as? But he's also said he's going to check out Titanic because he's heard so much about it. I assume it's he. So what's the crack? I'm on the plum pour. I went straight into the can plum pour because I got the plum pour pack, which is the cans and the bottles, and also the bar runner, not the t-shirt. I dressed appropriate colours. Tom, remind us which one you just did there.
So this is the chocolate and vanilla stout. I'll hold that up for you.
Nice, Rasco.
Nice. I've got the coffee stout, coffee roasted black. It is quite dark in colour, a little transparent. The head dissipated in seconds. I've got my special tasting glass out for this night, actually.
So fine looking vessel.
Yeah, it is, and really helps with the catching the aromas. And it is, there's almost a rum-like smell, bizarrely, and there's no rum in this. It is quite strong in coffeeness, in those aroma and taste. Not too bittery on the tongue, a little bit smooth. But it is classic Titanic. There is a bitter back end as it hits the back end of your throat. but I'm looking forward as this travels down. This is fantastic. There was a question by James Brown. So, what is it full of lactose?
Well, we'll find out in a second. Do you want me to continue reviewing, or are you happy with what we've done so far?
Mate, if you've got something to say, if you pick up on something, just say it, because that's what we tend to do on this show when we talk.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. What I will do is a very quick and succinct version of what I've now ended up dubbing the top to bottom taste test, which is the method I go through to allow me to actually taste all of it rather than just a bit of it in one mouthful. So we'll run through it real quick. That's not the whole glass, but trying to isolate the kind of initial mid-ground and then back end of the beer, kind of sip on sip, if you like. So initially this one, slight light carbonation on the front of the tongue. It hints at going to be sweet, but actually it doesn't really spike. It's quite neutral, but with just a touch of the vanilla coming through right in that kind of initial phase.
Wow.
The midsection, that kind of carries on, but you start to get a hint of that, even though it's not advertised, that slight underlying default stout coffee undertone. And then it really comes alive right at the end. So as soon as you swallow it, it's just a huge crush of flavour kind of at the back of the mouth and down the throat. And it's just that quite deep chocolate. The chocolate's changed from being kind of the milk chocolate that it was on the aroma. It's still quite sweet, but there's definitely kind of hints of cacao nib and those sort of darker, deeper chocolate tones at the end. And we'll leave it there. I think that's a good explainer for most people. I'll try and answer the question about the lactose though. We'll take a quick look at the bottle, and I have already spied this, but I don't think it does, despite smelling like it was going to. So the bottle itself says, "Our fabulous stout with the addition of smoothest of sweeteners, silky chocolate and mellow vanilla." Okay, so this is based off the original Titanic stout, whereas some of them are unique brews, which is interesting because the Titanic stout in a bottle comes out a lot more carbonated than this, which is interesting. Tasting notes: a true smooth and creamy stout with a sweet difference. The chocolate flavors are balanced by the addition of vanilla extract. And on the ingredients, water, malted barley, roasted barley, wheat malts, hops, chocolate, and vanilla flavorings and yeast. It is not a lactose beer.
Fair enough.
I think the vanilla. I said it didn't smell particularly vanilla-y. I wonder if that was slightly masquerading itself in a slightly milky sense, if that means anything. That's my interpretation anyway. Doesn't mean it's right.
Hello, Jim, all the way from the US of A. Sharky as well. I saw you earlier, Sharky, doing your own brew. Tom, I've got to say, mate, this is one of the most detailed reviews we've ever had. You're a bit of a perfectionist, I can tell.
I try and balance. So it's not worth doing something if you don't do it right, but at the same time, I'm very conscious of how much time I would spend doing something. If I kind of have a self-imposed limitation on recording time and editing time, because beyond that, I'd never get any videos out. Right? Like there's always a balance there. But thank you for your kind words on you were saying about being more detailed than most, because I don't necessarily feel like that's intentional or that is something that I do, but certainly there's always a balance there, because I've always been kind of on the switch side, because that's the way that I do it. Those people who do kind of like 1 minute, 2 minute beer reviews, I'm always amazed that they can get that information out in that period of time, because I can't do that. I just don't. I sip a beer and I go, I like it or I don't like it. It tastes a bit like this, but it's not enough information for a real review. You know what I mean? It's like, because beer is so subjective, if you're going to review it, I don't know that it helps everyone just to say it's great or it's rubbish. You need to say, you can say I like it or I don't like it, but these are the reasons why.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that is very candid, and I fully appreciate that. And, mate, you've been doing this for YouTube 7 months?
Yeah, yeah, somewhere during the was it the third lockdown, second proper lockdown? I don't know. The one earlier in the year, anyway. Yeah, that's when I started this channel. Yeah.
Tom, whilst we talk about detail, can I just A, give a big shout out to, and B, check, do we have the ephemeral presence of Dictionary Corner tonight?
So Dictionary Corner was set up with an Instagram account under the name of Dictionary Corner.
I did notice that.
So she could tune in. However, I suspect she's probably fallen asleep. She'll let us know in the comments if she is watching, I'm sure. I just want to say that James has asked if it is vegan friendly. I clocked that message, and I've been looking on the bottle ever since to find a definitive answer, and it doesn't state it. So I'm wondering whether it's filtered, because I just can't see any suggestion. But I'm sure their website would clarify. It just doesn't say anything. Doesn't say anything of the sort, unfortunately.
So you started this out, what, a lockdown project?
Yeah, so I know everyone always gets asked, why did you start your channel? And every time I feel like I've seen someone answer that question, they've always broadly given the same answer, as in they like beer, they've seen other people do it, they thought they could do it, and they, developed from there. Mine was a bit different in that I have a real love for YouTube, and watched many different styles of content creators for years and years and years, and really liked it. Also big into photography and just camera stuff in general as a bit of a hobby. And I've always wanted to do it, but finding both the time and the type of content that I would be interested in, but enough to make kind of go the distance, if that makes sense. Because I've got lots of interest, but not necessarily some sort of where I can do 2 or 3 videos a week. And it was that lockdown, you had a bit more time. I was like, look, I'm just going to start this and see where it goes. Instead of trying to, the slight perfectionist part that you mentioned before was always like, you need the solid plan and all the ideas before you start. And I kind of managed to ignore that for a minute and went, let's start this and see where it ends up.
Yeah.
And again, as I said, the first video was biscuits for some reason, just because I was like, right, it's something I can talk about and I actually like, and it's a bit tongue in cheek and whatever. And then as a result of that, going down the kind of food and drink rabbit hole, you come across beer reviews. I was like, oh, people are actually talking about beer on YouTube. I didn't know about this before I started the channel. And I started watching some of it, and I was like, well, I like beer as much as these people, and that is something you can consistently go to. And as I've talked to people about beer for years, just not, I never considered it as an option as for content creation. So yeah, that's it really. It just kind of fell in as like that approach of just keep going until you find the point. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's great. Comment from Jim. He's drinking Dutchie's Juicy IPA out in Oregon. Oregon, one day I will get to you. And Samo, evening gents. He's Rocket Fuel. These Oktoberfest beers are like Rocket Fuel. Well, enjoy that.
Excellent.
There's some good stuff out there, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, as I know.
I had the Lowenbrow Oktoberfest on tap yesterday in that pub. That was good.
Was good. Very good, very good. So, what? To ask kind of tedious question, what is your beer influence? Because I think we've got similar interests in beer.
Yeah.
You like the darker stuff. You like the Titanics.
Yeah.
The Plum Porter, as I've said many times, it was kind of like the gateway.
Sure.
Well, it wasn't necessarily the gateway. I was always into beer and ale. I think this goes the same. But the Plum Porter really just upped it and inspired me to go further.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my kind of, I was into. It wouldn't have been craft then. It would have been real ale. But the more traditional style beer from a very early age, like even before I was 18. Which is odd. Yeah, I know, right? But these things happen. I mean, family, various family members were into it, and it was just one of those things you pick up on. I mean, I ended up going to the Nottingham Beer Festival when it used to be held in a dingy leisure centre, like how many years ago? 17 years ago, something like that. Like when I was not 18. So and it just kind of stemmed from there. And a bit of a weird thing, really, because obviously a lot of people got into better beer as a result of the craft movement. But I kind of went the other way. I really wasn't keen on this emerging craft stuff when it came out, because like, this is not the styles of beer, because it was almost entirely American-driven IPAs. It's just not my go-to thing. It was like all those spaces in the pubs particularly, actually, rather than supermarkets and stuff, that used to host an array of darker trad beers. Now there's none, and it's a raft of IPAs instead. I was like, well, you've ruined it for me. Now I'm gonna have to sit here and drink lager because it's the best thing on the menu. Like, I've kind of learned actually not all IPAs are bad now as a result of this channel. But you know what I mean. It only takes a handful of negative experiences with a certain style for you to go, I'm not going to risk spending that money on that pint anymore.
Yeah,
and
I've had the same with lager, and only this week I've got a bunch of lagers in, mostly because a beer that had disco in the name, but it turned out to come from, it was a lager. It was a New Zealand dry hopped lager, and it's not really my thing, dry hopped anything, but it came from a place in South London that I'd been to about 5-6 years ago. It was one of the first places I started drinking craft, but I didn't actually know it at the time. So I was well happy to order from them, and I picked up a couple of the Anspach Hop Day Oktoberfest lagers as well. So it's like lager has suddenly become, it used to be something I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. It's now something I actually look at.
Yeah. And that's I think everyone probably has a style that they either have that experience with, or they currently say they don't like, but actually just haven't tried the right ones that suit them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm similar. I wouldn't touch a lager unless it was German or Czech.
Yeah.
And I remember just being at the Ealing and St Albans Beer Festival, and I spent all my time at the foreign bar just drinking those fine lagers. Mm-hmm. But now I've become even more of a snob that I won't touch a lager unless it's poured correctly.
You've reached new heights there.
Yeah. So there you go. Comment from Jim. Hello, Stephen. Kevin shared with me that he will be brewing 8.9% winter warmer beers for his Christmas. Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
and James Bradsell, we all like winter warmers. And Jim is speaking to Jim. Isn't that nice? Yes, and James Bradsell is like, we all like winter warmers. We spend good money for good beer. That's true.
Yeah.
Had anyone tried the new brew Hoffensteimer? No, I can't even pronounce that correctly. So
I think it's Hofmeister.
I'm trying the old Hofmeister, let alone the new Hofmeister. But have you seen that, Tom?
Yeah, I'm aware it exists. I haven't tried it yet. I have tried the old one a long time ago. I couldn't even tell you what it was like now. It was that long ago.
Can somewhere along the line, slightly illegally from some dodgy off license, and that was all that was available. I must have bought a can of Hofmeister just because of the advertising, basically.
Yeah, that's it. But no, I've not tried the new one. I would like to, though. I have a continuing growing problem with owning too many beers and nowhere to store them. Yeah, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. So I'm trying my best not to get excited by new things at the minute.
Yeah.
I know exactly how you feel. First time ever. I always kept a small beer stash, but after visiting the Czech embassy and getting a load of beer, going to Anspach Hop Day last week and getting a load of beer, and bringing in this box of beer for this show, my beer stash is overflowing. I'm going to do a plug now. We are interviewing a brewery on Thursday night. Not the usual, but on Thursday night we are interviewing a brewery. Disco, do you want to say which brewery it is?
Yeah, it's a special additional show because he said he was booked up for too many Saturdays to Christmas, so he said let's do a weekday show. So I don't know, Tom, have you heard of a brewery called Turning Point from Knaresborough in Yorkshire?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I don't think I've had anything from them, but I've heard good things.
It's worth a look. Cameron from Turning Point. I've been on a couple of Zooms with him from their birthday, their birthday shows. They did a couple of Zooms. So I chatted to him and the other guys from Turning Point live from their brewery tap. And Rasco met him at, was it Brew London, Rasco, you met Cameron?
No, at London Craft Beer Festival.
Exactly. So, yeah, and he said, all right, I'll actually go on the show. So we've been emailing him this week, and he's like, yeah, we'll get some beers in. And we're going to have a chat to him on Thursday. So Turning Point, I've had loads of beers in, mostly because they have a beer called Disco King.
Nice.
So I've been well into them, and they do some really good stouts as well. So Thursday we're going to have a chat to Turning Point. Oh, t-shirt.
Disco. I read a kid's book. To my daughter, it had disco in the title. Shall I get you a copy of that as well?
Oh, what was the title of that, Rasco?
It was Disco Kid or something like that, man.
Well, I wouldn't pay money for a book that had disco in the title, but I will pay money for beer. I just want to check this comment. Jim, who we know grew up in Hawaii. What a great place. I've been there for a week. Growing up in Hawaii, I drank Stein Lager, which is from New Zealand. And after Hawaii, I went to New Zealand. I do remember drinking Stein Lager in New Zealand. So that brings great memories. Thanks for that, shout, Jim.
Awesome. I've just finished that chocolate and vanilla stout, and just as I finished it, the glass at the end, it only happened right at the end of the beer as you finished it. The resonating smell in there is like being in a authentic like Belgian chocolate shop, like that real like it's just real rich chocolate truffle, but not too bitter. You know what I mean? I mean, interestingly, the bitterness rating is quite high on the back of that bottle, but I don't know whether, I mean, it in terms of IBUs it might be, but in terms of effect, it doesn't really come through for me.
I had a beer like that last night. I cracked it because I just pulled it out the stash randomly. I was going to drink it, and I forgot or didn't bother to check that it turned out to be a 12% sticky toffee pudding Belgian quad. At 12%.
Hold on, tell me more, because they're all words I like to hear.
It's not currently available, sadly, but from Drygate in Glasgow. It's their desserts. When they go big, they go big well. Stouts, and it just smelled literally like somewhere between sticky toffee pudding and spotted dick. Oh,
I do like sticky toffee pudding ales when done properly.
I forgot it was a Belgian quad as well, Belgian style quad. And I came down this morning, and after I finished it, I went on to a coffee stout, and then I just sat there for 5 minutes sniffing the glass. I came down this morning, sniffed the glass, and you could still smell raisin, custard, and like dessert. It was amazing, absolutely fantastic beer. And I've actually forgotten why I started that anecdote.
I think it was just from the remain. I think you got there. It was the resonant smell in the glass we were talking about. So I think you got there. I think you're fine.
I can still smell it now.
Yeah, Roscoe, have you had the Captain Smith before?
No, I don't recall having it. To be honest,
I didn't remember the Captain Smith being a dark beer. I thought that was a pale, but what is it, Rasper?
It's a bitter.
It is. Yes, it's a strong traditional ruby. It's very transparent. I wish I could actually take a photo of what I could see right now. It's beautiful in colour.
Red in the glass, like browny red, russet.
Yeah. I did wash the glass out because to try and get rid of the previous aromas, but might still be there. I'm not getting necessarily much, but there's something. I can't place it though. I'm going to go straight in. There was some carbonation, just about still some there.
Robert Jones, I can see.
Oh, God. God in a good way.
Which God?
This God.
Let's not get into religion. Beer is our God. Beer is our God.
Yeah.
No, I'm pleased with that.
What is a DJ?
My initial... With which DJ? But I deviate. Anyway. That is a proper ruby bitter.
Yeah.
There's no other words to initially start that review. I'm going to search for words while it goes down. If I could pause this review, I would right now, but I can't. But I'll tell you more as it goes down, because there's some initial good feelings, but I can't necessarily place it.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain I've had that beer in Titanic's brew pub over in Stoke, up near Port Vale. On the way to going to Port Vale, there's what's it called, Burslem. I'm sure it's their brew pub. I should have checked out and I forgot. But have you been to any of the Titanic brew pubs or the station taps, Tom?
No, annoyingly not. I really want to go over because they're not that far away either. It's just slightly too far to go and be able to get a taxi back. You know what I mean? It's just like it's not in terms of. I definitely want to go over and pick some stuff up from the brewery at some point, because driving there to pick up some beer will be easy. But in terms of trying to have a decent session over there, I'll figure it out one day for sure. I do want to.
Just jump on the train, isn't it?
Well,
Mid-afternoon.
That's true.
Quick train over at Stoke.
Yeah.
When I eventually get back around that way, I'll give you a shout.
Yes, definitely. There is one thing I think we need to discuss. It was quite an aptly timed stream with the Plum Porter theme. Can we talk about this?
Yes.
This Tom.
That one.
I wasn't sure when to pull this out, but I'm glad you pulled it out and surprised me.
Well, you posted it. You posted it on your Instagram story, then I ran to Aldi.
I did say to Rasko, I'm going for a little walk this afternoon, but I didn't actually tell him. Well, I probably should have. I don't know if you can get to Aldi, Rasko, but yeah, I did have to walk all the way across town, but I'm in London, so it's not across town. It's almost the next town to like the out of town shopping centres. So yeah. Fair play, Tom. That's touche.
Yeah. Do we dare sample that, given that this is a bit of a honorary stream to Titanic? Or I mean, to be fair, if we open it and we say it's horrendous, then that's probably quite good for them. I don't know. But
the reason I did it, Tom, is because during the week I did see a tweet from Titanic that said flattery is the best form of was it? Flattery is the best form of
imitation.
Imitation is the best form of flattery, and they posted a picture of this. So I thought, well, I don't go to Aldi often. It's not my regular shopping pattern, but it is a little bit of a walk, and I do need to wander this afternoon. So I thought I went over there. It was quite quiet, so I popped in. Now, the other reason I went to Aldi was because I saw a couple of reviews this week of the Terry Chocolate Orange Stout.
Yes, I've got one of those in the fridge actually. I think
because
what's it called?
Might have to have any in.
The Peeling Good, that one.
Peeling Good, that was it. Yeah, I see Scott and Wanda did that this week as well, and I think Simon did it as well. But yeah, I went to Aldi and they didn't have any in, so I just got this.
Yeah, I got the last bottle actually. It'd obviously been flying off the shelves. Shall I open a proper one and the imitation?
Well, that's kind of, I wasn't sure whether to do a side by side, but if you are, because obviously I got the Plum Porter box, I went cheap and just got the Plum Porter can. The can, I'm not sure about. It's kind of, to be fair, I haven't had Plum Porter for about at least 18 months, if not 2 years. So I don't know how it's changed. I don't know how, and the last time I had it off draft, I don't think I've ever had, I must have had it in a bottle. I've never had it in can. And I'm not quite sure about it. It's all right, but it's not amazing in can.
I think it changes a lot depending on delivery. I mean, we'll find out in a minute when I crack that bottle open. But I had it last night, so I can compare it. But I had it last night on cask.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And rather controversially, I think it's better on keg.
Not actually that controversial. It's a fair point if that's what you think. I don't mind.
No, I'd normally go cask, but I think the CO2 delivery just amps up the flavour and the body a bit more.
Well, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. Let's do it. But I think bottle. I've not tried the cans, but I suspect it's quite different for some reason.
So what you going for the genuine article first?
I'm going to go for the genuine article first. Shall I pour both out in different glasses so we can do proper side by side and see how close they got?
Yeah, might as well.
That's fine.
I'll do that as well.
That's fine.
While you do that, I'll just catch up in the comments. James Bransell is saying he has a love for Audi now, and Jim, I made fresh homemade chicken soup today for dinner. I'm very glad to hear that. Was that ordinary chicken soup or Thai chicken soup, or I don't know, your own recipe? Let us know. And Robert Jones, yes, we can see your comments. And that's that. Yeah, go on, fellas, chug it down.
The opening that bottle, the smell was just incredible. Really, I don't think it's lost anything. I do suspect that maybe just on can it's not perfect. But yeah, that smells like it should do.
The can, there was definitely it was definitely a plum aroma and a port aroma, but it was more it was a bit more fizzy, and I don't want to use the word astringent because I don't think that's right, but there was a certain kick to it. Okay. It wasn't quite as I remember it off cast.
Yeah. But I'm not going to try it until we pull this one out. Let's see how this one smells in comparison. This is the pretender.
I mean, despite the size of my hooter, my aroma sensors are pretty terrible, to be honest.
Right, but so open the Titanic. The room smells like Plum. I've opened that. It's almost in my nose, and it smells like a slightly. Well, it smells like a slightly shit bitter. It doesn't smell good. It does not smell good.
I'm getting more the fake one. With my terrible nasal receptors, I'm getting more fruit off the fake one. And it's less carbonated, but much more head I poured. That might be just my terrible pouring, but...
Oh, Jim made chicken curry soup, if anyone wants to know. I hope you enjoyed it, mate. It sounds tasty.
Yeah, there's a lot more head on the fake one.
It's funny how different people get different kind of aromas and flavours off of the same beer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we knew what they were trying to pull, but I can't. I'm not seeing this ending very well in Aldi's favour at this point. I'll be honest.
Right, so that's the fake one. That's the real one. Which one are you going to try first, Tom?
I think I'm going to try the fake one first because I suspect the flavour will be nowhere near as intense.
That's a good point. Okay, well, you do that. I'm going to go the other way because that looks much smoother with a much silkier head. That's got much less head, but it looks a bit more intense.
Mine does. The one with no head is the original one. Colour-wise, the original's ever so slightly lighter, but they are different glasses, so it might not be. Yeah, they're pretty similar though.
Yeah, I mean mine are, but much the same. But yeah, I'm gonna try the real one first, just because I've already had the real one, so that's the flavour in my palate, and also I think the bottle is going to be better than the can.
Yeah, you do that. I'm going to go in for the fake one. So can Aldi match it? Cheers, gents.
Hello, Andy, by the way. You're done. All selected.
That's already better than the can. For sure, much more plum flavour. Much more natural plum flavour.
You know Aldi bought in that cherry lager? Or was it Lidl? Someone bought in a cherry lager. I think it was Aldi.
I confuse Lidl all the time, but I didn't see any cherry lager in Aldi today, so...
It was only in the last week or so.
Yeah.
In fact, did you ever try the... I'm trying to remember what the flavour was. They did another stout that was... It was something a bit wild. I don't remember, it was like a marshmallow stout or something. And it sounded like it had real promise, and it was a massive disappointment. Well, what I think they've done is they've taken the same beer, added some bad food additives, and rebottled it as this.
Really?
I'm going to get into that in a moment. That is not as good as cask, but spot on. I remember the flavours. It's got that fruitiness. It's got that. It's very back end kind of plumminess, fruitiness. But yeah, I could smash that. It's very smooth.
You could smash that. Yeah, that's recommended. Yeah, go ahead, smash it. Highly intoxicating drink full of rich with taste. Comments from James Bransell. Selective bias warning. I believe that's about what you're on about, fellas. Should put a blindfold spin around 5 times. Again from James Bransell. And Jim, anyone hungry for some boiled pork, kidney, and tails? I'm not keen on kidney, Jim, so no.
Jim takes great pleasure in asking people if they fancy some fairly obscure meal choices. It's a theme. It's a running theme. I enjoy it, Jim. Please don't stop. I love hearing what he comes up with.
Yeah. I would love some of that, Jim.
Right.
It would have to be very weird food for me to say no. I mean, I've eaten wasp larvae.
At least they don't turn into wasps at that point, I guess.
No, and hoo-hoo grubs that live in rotten trees.
No, they're living in his beard at the moment.
Right, I'm going in for the original because I need to get rid of the taste of that Aldi one out of my mouth. So, cheers again. Let's do it.
Cheers. I'm on the Aldi now.
There's no comparison there at all. That's not even that. No one when brewing the Aldi one had ever tasted the original, if that's what they were aiming for.
Do you know what? It's not horrendous. It's not horrific.
But does it taste anything like, really?
No. There is. Yeah. That's probably fruitier on the taste. It's more plummy. That's just. Is it more portery?
It's got a real metallic. It's got a real metallic edge to it. The Aldi one.
No, that's a fair shout. Yeah. But the thing is, right? If I was, I view it on like if there's an Aldi next to a train station and I'm on a day out and I want a few beers for the train home, I'm picking up Plum Porter, no problem, and it's perfectly drinkable. It's quite smooth. It's not like too astringent. It's not too like raspy. It's perfectly decent for like if you've been on a social day, you can just pick up some of that and it's all right.
I'll say this: if you bought a pint of it for sub £4 and you'd not tried it before, you wouldn't be annoyed by your pint, but then you'd probably move on to something else. It's probably what I'd get. It's not horrendous. It's not intrinsically an awful beer. There's too much of that metallic taste in it. You know how Guinness has that traditional, the irony edge, but it's done to a very succinct point. And then when Guinness warms up, it becomes too much, and then it tastes awful. Right? You get that thing. This is just a bit too much from the off. Only a little bit, but it's just creeping over. I'm going to finish it. It's not a drain pourer. It's fine. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're thinking I can buy that for the same experience as the Titanic one, no, you can't. Not even
Good
close.
To clarify. Question: have you tried St. Peter's Plum Porter?
Yes.
Yes. No, that's a whole different matter, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
I like it, but it's not the same. It's a different. It's a different take.
It is, and I'll agree. But I don't think Plum Porter from Titanic is what it was 5 years ago. I mean, I think they're more like. They're more like now the St. Peter's and the Titanic than they were. But I agree they're not the same. I think the problem I have with Plum Porter these days is it's not the radical drink it used to be. And it's why I kind of changed my mind and thought Cherry Dark is actually better. but I've not had Titanic Plum Porter in 1 year.
Okay.
And
We're missing your comments going through because they scroll through quickly. Sorry, carry on, Masco. Sorry, I'm just apologising for missing comments that were in the...
don't worry about it. Jim's just saying he's jealous of our culture, where all his people came from Ireland and Scotland. James Bransell saying something about pork scratchings, but I know James Bransell well. He's on morphine drip at the moment, so God knows what he's saying. And Jim has had St. Peter's IPA and multi English style IPA. Good. No, so I'm kind of glad the St. Peter's Plum Porter is about. I haven't had that in exactly 1 year. I tried doing a video for it actually, but then I realised there was a load of music in the background. Now I would just got kicked off YouTube anyway. Yeah. So I'd like to have it again, and I'm glad it's around. Back on this, it's looking like a whiskey now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good beer, that Captain Smith's. I don't know why it's not in more. Doesn't get around a bit more because it's really.
I want this on casks so desperately.
I've only had it on bottle like you've had it.
Yeah,
it's good though. It is good.
It is good. And there's slight sweetness to it, but then it gets bear hugged and rugby tackled down by the bitterness that comes through. I'm really enjoying this. This is, I don't have drinks like this often. This is what I used to drink. It's bringing back a few reminiscent memories. I want more. I want more.
Yeah, it's good. If I'm remembering correctly, it's got quite a bit of a caramel lick to it, but it doesn't go too far.
That's the sweetness. But yeah, very little, very subtle. See, I would never have got caramel, but you're right. You're spot on. You know what? I thought that sweet aroma was coming from the previous beer, but maybe it is coming from this.
It is. It is slightly sweeter than your average. Certainly your average bitter. I mean, I know they say it's a ruby, but it's not a dark ruby, really, is it? It's a bit halfway between the two. But it's ever so slightly sweeter than most beers in that style. But like you say, the bitterness keeps it in check. Yeah.
I mean, it is properly rugby tackling it down and just putting it in its place and saying, this is what I am.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking delight. I'm so glad to be having this. Oh man.
So are you gonna sample a Plum Porter tonight then for the first time in a year? Is that the plan after this one?
Yes, mate. As soon as I get through this, probably be. Yeah, I'll get to it. Hello, Hoppy and the Bear. What a great name. Anyone who is not a subscriber, please subscribe to us here on Instagram or on YouTube. We are moving, as some of you may be aware. We are moving. We've got a plan to move now. We've constructed a plan, and we will move the show onto YouTube. We're going to do a couple of shows on YouTube before the year ends, or unless our plan fulfills itself, and we will be doing it fully on YouTube before the year ends. Most likely some point next year we will be on YouTube. So the more people that subscribe to us on Instagram, the quicker we're going to move. Because we can't move until we get 1,000 people on Instagram. So please like and subscribe.
There you go. I like that you've got a target in mind.
Well, yeah, but whilst you're subscribing, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Crumby Beard on Instagram and YouTube also.
And Twitter.
That doesn't get used very often, but do it anyway.
Yeah, there's not enough. You can't subscribe to. If you like beer and beer reviews, subscribe to everyone, because then you get a balanced view, because there's so much beer. Not everybody can do all the same beers. You'll always find something a bit different, certainly on our channel, but also on yours, because You're a big shouter of, like, obviously you're in Nottingham, so Nottingham beers, and there's quite a lot of Nottingham breweries about.
There's a lot.
I mean, like I've seen what I spent a lot of time changing trains in Nottingham, but not necessarily. I've only ever spent like an hour or two in Nottingham.
Yeah.
We used to go to Mansfield a lot for football, so we'd always spend an hour or two changing trains in Nottingham and go to the pub by the station for check out local beers, and that's how we first saw the likes of Blue Monkey and Lincoln Green. To be fair, like 5 years drinking all those beers in Nottingham.
Yeah, no, it's a great. There's a great beer scene here, and everyone. It seems to be. Doesn't feel like it's competitive. Like people who own one pub will often have a lot of different beers from people who theoretically are the same size in the same area and the same, but it's all very, very supportive.
I believe there's a micro pub on Nottingham Station as well now.
There may well be. I've not been to the station for a long time, but mainly because every time I get a train, I've got a train station that's closer to me than Nottingham is. One of the outskirt ones.
Okay.
So and which is also incidentally got an incredible pub right next to it.
Brilliant.
That's Beeston Station. Anyone who gets off there, nip into the Victoria Inn Hotel. They often have a great beer selection on there.
Great shout. So I used to go to Nottingham quite a lot as a teenager because my aunt still lives in Nottingham. My nan was there as well, to the south. So I spent a lot of time sort of going through Nottingham.
Yeah.
But never. I've only ever been to Nottingham for a couple of weekends, mostly for football.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't recognise it now because I think it's changed a lot in the last 20 years.
I think it's changed a lot in the last 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah, no doubt. The trams and stuff.
Yeah, trams, beer scene's blown up even more. It's always been strong, but now it's crazy. Like
we were just going to the one by the canal, just up from the station, turn left and down by the canal. Canal boat?
Okay, there's a few down there. I was going to say, but when you come out of the station, you've got Castle Rock Brewery and their pub, the Bat and Fiddle, right opposite. It's always
that shows how long since I've actually changed trains in Nottingham and gone to Mansfield.
I think the entrances to the train station have changed throughout the years as well, though, which might be why. It's been there a long time, but yeah, so you might have been coming out the other side. Of course, the canal is the other side of it. There's so much stuff around. It's impossible if you came up here. You'd never manage to hit every pub and tap room that you need to. If you know what I mean? Because it's just constant. I mean, I live here and I've got so many that I want to go to, but I just haven't had the chance or been in the right area at the right time. It seems to be popping up all over the place.
But if you're in the outskirts, you get into the town centre that much?
Not too much. Obviously, not a lot in the last 18 months.
Sure.
I was there last night. Last night was one of the kind of first. I won't say huge night out, but you know what I mean. It's a decent trawl through town last night. But yeah, it's stuff's opening and closing all over the place at the minute, and you can't keep up.
Yeah. I'm guessing at some point, I think you need to have a beer with Raggy.
Definitely. I was annoyed that when he. So we've been talking about him trying to drop off his bottle of beer for me for review. We're trying to make it where you come this day. And he kept not being able to make it. And then he messaged me and he's like, "Oh, I'm there. I'm not too far away from you now. Can I drop it off?" I was like, "You can drop it off, but I'm not there." So he ended up just leaving the bottle behind my car for me, which was very nice of him. But I was a bit annoyed I didn't get to meet him in person because I'd love to. It will definitely happen soon. Now everything seems to be.
Golden Ale? We dropped off some Golden Ale to you.
Sorry, say that again.
Is that the Golden Ale we dropped off to you?
Yes, Raggy's Golden Ale.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great beer. You guys have had that now, haven't you?
So, I have, yeah. I don't know if there's half a. We had a conversation with Raggy. Hopefully, he might be coming on next Saturday if we can definitely nail it down.
Yeah.
If he's about next Saturday, so I've got the box. Rascal, I don't know if you're actually going to get the Lincoln Green box, but yeah, I've had the Golden Ale. Really enjoyed it. it's quite a light. You know, it's a 3.8. It's like a session kind of ale, but it's very easy drinking, and it's really nice. So it's sort of one I'd love a pint of that on cask in Nottingham.
Yes.
In a good proper pub with a proper pint glass.
Lincoln Green operate a few very good proper pubs, so definitely worth a visit.
You actually got a compliment on your YouTube review, Disco. Did you mail a brown envelope to someone or something?
No, I mean we obviously we haven't quite developed the YouTube in the way I guess in the way you have, Tom. Like we started off in 2018 just doing like beer festivals and pubs and stuff.
Yeah.
And during lockdown, because me and Rasco haven't met up, I sort of shied away. I did a few beer reviews, straight piece to camera beer reviews last year, and in the last month I've started doing them again, and I find them. It's like you said, I find them really difficult because I'm a bit of a perfectionist like yourself, and I don't like jump cuts. I hate jump cuts, but I'll always put a jump cut in the video because I don't know. I like trying to do like one take piece to camera beer reviews.
Yeah,
it's almost impossible.
But there's debate about this because it's not accurate about the beer because the beer is a journey, and this is what I really like about what Tom does. He goes through the entire glass.
Yeah.
I mean, I think beer reviews. Disco, do us a favour, mate. Have you had a few beers, Disco, before the show?
Yeah. Can you tell?
I can tell because you keep interrupting.
Oh, I've done really well on that for the last few shows. I don't normally interrupt that much.
Yeah, I know. So, as I was saying, Craig...
Rasco, if I keep interrupting, Rasco, just tell me and I'll stop.
Right, where's that electric shock app? I can just... Right. So, no, Craig does it.
You should know.
I'm going to take you off, mate. Seriously.
No dead air, mate. Dead air is bad air. Start talking, Rasco. Come on.
Shall I do sign instead,
No, I think we should just let Tom speak because he speaks much more sense than you or me.
You keep interrupting him as well.
It's the chaos of a live stream. It's fine.
Yes. Comments from James Bransell. Trams, beer, sounds like Croydon. Some might say a less street crime, I hope.
I'm not sure about that.
Jim, we'll meet up for a beer and compare one day. I might be actually in Nottingham for work in the next couple of weeks, so I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah, let me know.
All right. And another comment from Jim. Yes, Rasco, beer is a journey. Yes, it is. As I was saying, 10 beer review does occasionally do jump cuts. I think it's something you've got to do, and something we consider. In my upcoming video down at Signal Brewery, I hope they're still watching. I don't think they do. There is a massive jump cut because I get interrupted because it's their canning day and they've got the compressor going off, and I just can't do it. And I just think, right, I've got to do a jump cut and make a joke of it. You see that? I might edit out completely. I might even do an outtakes one because it was it took a few goes to get it right, but please.
It's difficult filming on location, isn't it?
It is, and it's part of the whole joy of it. And so I just try to blend it in. I'll look at what my options are. I've got 2 videos coming up myself. No disco, so hopefully I'll get some good viewing ratings for that then. Yeah, that's great. This is a treat. I'm about to have the last swig. It's everything. This is what got me into beer. Stuff like this.
Great. It's a great beer, that one. It really is.
Yeah. So
I have. Sorry, go on.
No, I'm actually coughing.
I was going to say, Jim said beer is a journey. Well, I've decided to get off the journey on the Aldi beer a bit earlier. I said I was going to drink it all. I've got about a third of a pint left, and I've decided at this point that I could be drinking the real deal, and I think I'd rather. It's not horrendous, but when you've got something else that much better sat in front of you, I think I'm going to leave it there and carry on with the preferable version for now.
Our man Jim, the cameraman, he gave us that challenge of like blindfold taste test, see if you can do the difference. I would be embarrassed if I got it wrong, but I actually find that really quite drinkable, and I think it's smoother. So I'm going to carry on drinking the fake one and then go on to the real thing afterwards.
It wasn't smoother for me, but that could be the glass difference.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a big discussion point, isn't it? Where what glass you have and whether it affects the taste and blah blah blah. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not going to fall out over it, Tom, are we? I mean,
look, if you prefer a version that's half the price and easily available, then I'm almost jealous.
Yeah, I prefer it. I would just say it's perfectly acceptable. Yeah. It's not. Would rather the real.
You know what I mean, though. I mean, there was a bit of me that goes, those people who are very happy to sit and drink a Carling or a Worthington's or something like that and really enjoy it. I'm jealous. Because that'd be. I was like, I can't get that.
But the only reason I'm doing it is the power of advertising, and it's Titanic who said about it, and I didn't even know about it. And it's like, well, if they've said about it, I'm going to go and check it out. Yeah. But yeah, given the choice, I'm always going to go for the real deal. To be fair.
For sure.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Tom. The aromas are coming off the bottle. It's come out of the glass. I'm going to confess something. This is the first time I've ever had plum porter out of a bottle.
So that's interesting that you think it's okay. So when you said you thought it had changed, because when you said that, we had a conversation about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And when you said that, I was thinking, I'm not sure it has. I'm not saying it hasn't. I just don't. I'd never made that connection myself. So I was interested in what formats had you been drinking it in to lead you to that decision?
Well, it starts with a story not so long ago. I don't recall if it was GBBF or it was in the pub in the Breweries. We've had a request from Jim, the cameraman. He wants in on the stream. Now, I'm worried if I put 4 people on this stream, Instagram will break down, because it does. Hence why we're moving. Now, Jim, the cameraman, have you got a crazy idea? I'll give you a 5-minute slot, and only a 5-minute slot, man. It's all about you.
He does also have. It does have a fun anecdote about you and me and Plum Porter and Plum Porter Grand Reserve. Well, to be fair.
Right, I will give him 2 minutes then. Right, my journey with Plum Porter started either at GBBF or at the Breweries. Now, the reason I say I don't think it is what it was, because I could only drink 3 pints of it.
Okay.
Now I find it much more sessionable. The flavour was that much more radical. And here we go.
Hello, folks.
So,
live my deathbed. Yeah.
Yes. So, just to introduce you, Tom. This is disgraced journalist James Brownsall, who is laying in his deathbed in North Wales. He used to do camera work for us, and he is the producer, but I sacked him. And yes, there you go. You've got an anecdote. You've got 2 minutes.
Shut up. First of all, I say plenty of love for Audi. My Audi brand flip flops, right here.
Amazing.
But there's nothing like real Titanic Plum Porter, except Titanic Plum Porter Extra Reserve. And
Grand Reserve.
when we went looking, do you remember Rasco, when we went looking for the Extra Reserve with the added port?
Right.
Special
So,
edition.
let me finish my story here. Right. I don't think this drink tastes them. I haven't had a sip, but this is promising. This is very promising, right? I'm very pleased. I could not have more than 3 pints of plum porter before, or in just burnt out your taste buds. It wasn't a drink of balance. It was radical. I loved it. It's what got me into doing this, really. GBBF 2017, I found the Grand Reserve. And that led on to just went on this mad hunt for Titanic. At the early days of Rasco and Disco, we used to trek from one side of London to the other just to find Titanic Grand Reserve. And when we get there, they tell us it was sold out. One day, we found it in one place, the Rake Bar in London Borough Market. We get down there, we got a tip actually from the salesman from Titanic on Twitter. We weren't on Instagram at the time, and we got down there. We went straight down right after work, and we got battered. We did a video, and that video will never see the light of day because
it has to. It's funny as if
we can't stand straight, mate.
Yeah, but the camera work was really good.
Camera work, and the question was ace, Jim.
This is good. I like this, but it's not the radical drink it used to be. It should be burning my taste buds, and it's not, but it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And I'm convinced this is why I went more towards Cherry Dark than this. Titanic, they've been around since 1980. Roger Proltz puts them as the new kid on the block of the old traditional breweries. But this is not what it is. I would agree with Simon from Real Ale Craft Beer. This is not what it was, but it's still damn good. It's not come down the same route as, say, Jaipur or Punk IPA of not being what it was, but it's still damn good.
Phil Smith.
Do you reckon they changed it to go in the supermarkets?
Yeah.
I have a theory that it's one of those beers that became so ubiquitous that they had to make some adjustments, like you say, for that supermarket thing. It's probably better on cask. I must have had it okay, but the quantities begat the quality, but I still think it's quality.
Yeah.
Phil was watching boxing instead of us. That's it, Phil. After all those wake-up messages I was getting from you, I'm disappointed with you. Spot on, one Rasco, and yes, I don't have a beard. Right,
let's go quickly. Go up here. We're in the actually it goes Rasco top. Well, sort of like that's a hell of a beard, James.
Thanks, mate. Yours not bad either.
Yeah,
I don't know how much longer.
Next month, I think.
Have we announced it yet?
Not yet, no.
Shall we announce it now?
Are you challenging? Are you challenging me, Jim?
See what the other folks watching might not know is that Disco and I have been chatting to each other about the potential for a challenge to brave the shave.
That is brave.
It's got to go. It's got to go. It's
time. It's time for these luscious locks to go. And if Disco does it, I'll do it.
Well, I think we should do is I think we should do a shave off where the first one to shave it all off wins.
What, we both start at 10 o'clock live on Rusco and Disco Beer Review Instagram.
Yeah, and see what happens. Yeah,
And the first one to get it off.
Miss that. That's what we're going to be. The whole beard trick thing. Tom, do you do that? The whole like.
Oh yeah, definitely. All the time. When I'm working, particularly thinking about something, I just go off. That and just being sat with a beard comb constantly while trying to consider what I'm doing. I can't have it anywhere near me when I'm on camera because otherwise I'll just start doing it mindlessly. I don't.
I would have shaved mine off in March, but my wife got me a beard straightening comb, a heated beard straightener.
I've seen them. Do they actually? Is it good?
It works. Obviously, I've not tried it for much because, well, I've been in hospital for a couple of weeks. Because this is the other thing that many viewers won't know. Is that 10 days ago my appendix burst. So,
ouch! Oh God.
Yeah. So this week I have mostly been drinking lactulose.
What is it?
What the fuck is that?
That is a liquid laxative. Oh boy.
Nice.
It's to counteract the effects of many bottles of antibiotics and opiate painkillers. Mint. So, yeah.
Fantastic. You had a beer today. What was the effects of you having a beer?
I was fine because I did actually finish the antibiotics yesterday. So, drink responsibly. I ventured round to my the brewery right next door to our house, which is the Conway Brewery up here in North Wales, where they were hosting one leg of the Conway Ale Trail, which is a bus-based pub crawl across North Wales.
Fantastic.
With buses every 45 minutes, so bands and pizza thing and everything, which is unusual for up here because it's not East London.
Great.
That sounds awesome.
But Tom, all right, Tom, I've got to get this right. Do you disagree with me that Titanic Plum Porter has not changed, or do you think it has changed?
I'm not. The honest is not. I'm not sure. I'd not considered it before you said it, and now ever since I've been racking my head, going, has it or not? Last night when I had it on cask, I was thinking, damn, he was right. But so it may well have on cask or keg. I'm not sure if it's changed out of a bottle though. Right. Which is where I've drank most of it.
Yeah, you have me an advantage. I've never had it on keg. I've only had it on cask, and this is the first time I've had it on bottle.
Yeah.
You got Phil making comments about Carling. Oh my God.
Phil, I'm leaving Phil to deal with the Robert James Carling is best comment. I mean, yeah, if it is, it is. But to
be fair, he said Carlin, not Carling, is the best bear. So there's a bear called Carlin, and it's the best one.
Who taught George Carlin? Of course.
Could be.
Yes. Hello, Paul's beer reviews.
You can tell. You can tell the boxing's finished. They've all come in flooded in now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. So, fair enough. All right. I would agree. It is not the drink it was. It is still gorgeous, but I don't think it's what it was. I think Titanic have exploded in popularity. I remember at GBBF 2018, or was it 2019? I remember they had a much reduced stand. They were just in the corner and they weren't making a big deal like they used to. And didn't bring much to the festival either. And I actually went to one of the people who was always featuring in their social media videos. And what's going on with Titanic? So they just don't need to be here anymore. They don't need to push it out as much as they used to.
No.
And I think that is true. They're a great brand. They did support, I believe they did support the ESRB review last year. I wasn't too happy about that, but hey, someone's got to change in beer. I don't know what it is, but someone's got to change.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I know I said earlier about it being better on keg, but actually I don't think I'd had it on cask that much. And I'm not lying when I say this bottle pour now was better than the cask pint I had yesterday.
Wow.
So I'm wondering has something gone a bit wrong with their cask offering, which is why you can change.
I know what you're feeling, because with the way it's been over the past year and a half, I'm not enjoying cask as much now, because I've been mostly can and bottle orientated. Whenever I've hit the cask, I've found, that's good, but it's not like how it was. Yeah. And I'm a bit more prone to keg, and it's a bit weird for me. That said, I'm about to throw in a bit of news. The craft beer channel is getting money from Fuller's to promote cask. It's a big campaign they're about to do. Promote cask for UNESCO recognition. So we'll get World Heritage recognition cask beer.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and that is, I found that out this week by listening to the Beer O'Clock podcast. And here I'm thinking, yes, do it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't have, what's going on with me in cask? I mean, I still like it, but yeah.
I'll tell you what we haven't done, Rascal. It is Cameron's Cask Beer Week this week. There's been a lot of stuff on Twitter about Cask Beer Week, and obviously we haven't really had the chance to get involved with that. I certainly haven't anyway.
Yeah. So there you go. And I've got to admit, I haven't been. I mean, my work is getting in the way of things again, and got to admit, I'm just not wanting to hit the cask where I want to. And I've brought this up before. I mean, I've even enjoyed Jaipur. I know you're not a fan, Tom, but I've enjoyed Jaipur more in a can from Tesco than I have on cask.
That's interesting.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, is it because of the lockdowns? I don't know.
I think you need to find a new cask hero to fall in love with, and it will change everything for you again.
I still have a lot of local beers that are best on cask. They will always remain. Like, there's no way moving it out into any other format will make it better. But there is a few select ones, and this is one of them, that seems to be a bit strange in that regard. I'm not sure what's going on. Whether there's something like changing in the industry in terms of brewing methods that's meaning it's not particularly great then delivered in that format. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to say whether that's the case or not. But it does seem odd. But I don't believe that intrinsically, because traditionally you got more flavour out of cask by the nature of it, right? Like that was, keg. You might be able to improve to kind of texture and mouthfeel through keg delivery, but it didn't. But it also kind of ruined the flavour a bit. I was like, well, those pints of plum porter I had last night on the cask were nowhere near the flavour profile that I've had out of keg, or even the bottle that I'm drinking right now, which is bizarre.
Yeah,
and that was a day ago. We're not talking about trying to remember, months back. Yeah. So yeah, something bizarre.
Right, fellas. Before you start on the next thing, I'm going to shoot off because my painkillers are kicking in. So I shall bid you adieu. I did read one thing the other day. It said that every pint of beer you drink takes half an hour off your life expectancy.
Yes.
Right. So my point is, if you take half an hour to drink the beer, you're at neutral. Even better. If you guarantee that you take 35 minutes over drinking every pint of beer, then you're 5 minutes up per beer. So, cheers, lads.
That's how math works. Excellent.
Yeah.
But in my 20s and 30s, I didn't take a half hour to drink a beer. I took about 15, so I probably died in about 2003.
Right, Disco, you've got 3 weeks left of that beard.
So have you, sir. So have you.
The clock is ticking.
My beard will disappear quicker than yours.
I doubt that very much. But we'll be in a pudding live on Rascal Disco Beer Review. Good night, 1-0.
All the best, sir. Rest up there. Get back.
Nice to meet you all, as ever.
Thank you.
Right.
So, Jim, do me a favour. Do me one favour. Don't die in the waiting room.
I'll do my best. It's all done now. I'm on the road to recovery.
Cheers.
Oh, nice. Cheers.
Cheers.
Get your laxatives out. Laxatives out for the lads. Yes. For indulging indulgence of our man Jim, who he moved last year to North Wales, so we got a sort of link to North Wales, and he pops on every now and again with some madcap schemes, and he's good for a chat. So we indulge his appearances.
I like it. It's good. It's good getting people in from all over the country.
He is a good man. I tell you what, I touched that fake Plum Porter, so I don't know why I've still got this glass in my hand, but I really quite enjoyed that. It went down really well, to be honest. Okay. For the price, It was all right. It wasn't terrible, I think. I'm on to the real thing now, though. Rasco, all yours.
To catch up with the comments, hi everyone from Thomas. Hi. John Smith's in Carling. Well, John Smith's actually did a lot to get me into beer. I've got respect for it, but I can't stand it now, and I won't drink it now. Who's drinking beers? Evening, lads, from Paul. Hello, Paul. Hello, Paul, mate. Stella. Yeah, you know what? I did enjoy Stella in 2008 in Brussels, but I can't stand it generally. Was there a match on tonight? No, there was not. There's no football. QPR did not play. Hello, Phil. Is the Carling? Hey, Robert, you're all nice and good to like Carling and all these beers, but try something else. Try something with some flavour, please. AJ's got the boxer up. Oh, that's good. Blah, 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 blah. Look, guys, just be nice to each other in the comments.
I just enjoy it. Do you know what?
Is a special event in the US. It is, but apparently you're getting very good at it. 8% stouts. Plum Port is the dog's mess. Hey, Robert. No, now you're going to bad territory here. No. You're in the wrong place, mate. You're in the wrong place. Plum Porter Appreciation Society.
Let me just state, right, whilst I drank the fake Plum Porter from Aldi, this pint of real Plum Porter has just been sitting there quietly to the side going, don't forget about me. And the head state, it looks nice, and the plum has developed. Yeah. I'm quite surprised. The plum has kind of developed, and I enjoyed that, but I've gone on to this now. And you're not wrong, Tom. It is.
It's another league, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't compare.
Much for you.
Have we got time for another beer? I don't know how long you guys normally go on for. I don't want to assume anything.
We go on until we're too drunk to operate camera equipment, or our guest gets bored.
That's fine.
Okay. We usually cut off hour and a half, mate, because when we've got a guest on, we can go for another 30 minutes.
Yeah,
that's fine. How long we got now? Where we at?
We got 31 minutes.
We got 31 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. In that case, I've got a very important question to answer, which is, Do we go for the Plum Porter Grand Reserve, or do I go for the Captain Smiths?
You see, because I went direct from Titanic on their web shop, great web shop by the way, but the Grand Reserve was sold out, so I couldn't get any. So you're the only one of the three of us who has Grand Reserve. So if you want to do it,
let's do it. It's a slightly smaller volume beer, which will probably fare well. So let's go. In terms of actual size rather than percentage. It's 6.5%.
Which one is it?
It's the Grand Reserve 6.5%, and it is fine beer. Actually, I did want to ask, what's your collectively, because you both had this before, right? In other periods of time. So I only had it for the first time relatively recently. I say relatively recently, 5 or 6 months ago. 5 months ago, probably.
Sorry, go on, Tom.
Bye, Phil, and hello, Craig.
Craig is in. What's your take on it, and how do you kind of, in terms of, like, do you think it's significantly better than the original? Do you think it's just different? What's your broad take on it?
So let's be clear. There's the Plum Porter, there's the Plum Porter Grand Reserve, and there's the port infused Grand Reserve, right? So the one we chased at the Rake Bar was the port infused Grand Reserve.
Right. Okay.
So my question back to you, Tom, was probably, what do you see the difference between the Grand Reserve and the port infused Grand Reserve?
So I've not had the port infused one.
Right. Okay.
I've only had just the reserve, which is the regular one, aged for basically just an extra 3 weeks.
See, I think the anecdote that Jim wanted to tell when he was coming on, we obviously didn't get around to it, but we chased the port infused Grand Reserve at the Rake Bar, and it took us a while to get on it, and they said we had to finish the cask that was on, which was like some chocolate stout. So we had about 5 pints of chocolate stout each, and then they got the Plum Porter on, and then we drank 7 pints of Plum Porter. And we did this video where we couldn't actually. The only thing I could say about the difference was it's definitely plummier. Yeah,
this video will never see the light of day. I'm telling you that now. What actually happened is we even phoned up the place. They said they had it. We got down there. I said, "Have you got the Grand Reserve Plum Porter?" I said, "Yes, but we can't put it on." We pushed them, and we got one of the people who works there, and they wanted to put it on, and they didn't want to put it on. They said they had to unseal it and let it breathe or do its stuff first, and they put it on straight on tap for us, and it was not at its best, and they felt a bit, I don't want to say bullied, but pushed into doing it.
Yeah.
And I really regret doing it. To be honest, I asked them nicely. I pitched it to them, and you know, I'll apologise to the Rake now. Thank you for doing it. I hope the barrel went down well. This was about 3 years ago. My first time I ever had the Grand Reserve was at GBBF. And I couldn't get enough of it. In fact, I only went to GBBF once that year, and I was all over the Titanic. I just pitched up in front of the Titanic bar. And I believe Craig, Kent Beer Review, was there. He was there with Simon, and he was there with Hobson. Didn't bump into him because they didn't go to the Titanic bar.
How can you not? How could you not?
They tend to pitch up outside the American bar, which is what I avoided, to be honest.
Yeah, that wouldn't be my go-to either.
But you know what? I'm going to give you some praise here, Tom. Congratulations in trying Sierra Nevada. That's very brave and bold of you. And I think everyone should just try Sierra Nevada.
I will at some point, Rasco. I know what you're saying. It's a fucking rush. It's been around for years, and it will still be around for a while.
It will. The problem you have, you might not like it, but there's a real chance, and it happened to me. You go from thinking it's not your bag to actually being a genuine kind of daily supermarket buy for you. Because that's happened to me. Like, I will buy that now, just to drink, not on camera, just to drink. Not all the time. It's a fun. But the thing is, what's funny is, I think I also got put off by it because during that time when the UK went a bit IPA mad, and we kept being told, well, everyone's trying to imitate Sierra Nevada. I'll be honest, no one in the UK managed to imitate it as far as I'm concerned, because that is significantly better than anything that came out of our breweries that was trying to be an American IPA. Mm. So,
well, the reason Rasco asks is because I maintain I've never sucked a Sierra Nevada. I've never purposely purchased. I think I will eventually. But the question there then is, what was your gateway beer into craft, Tom? Was it Sierra Nevada or was it something else? Or?
No, so I'm trying to think now, because there's a few local breweries who quite early on kind of almost split themselves in half in respect of they carried on doing their traditional real ale stuff and then also started putting out some very experimental craft things. Magpie Brewery stands out as one of those, and still to this day, actually, most of the stuff they ship out under the craft side, I'm not that mad on. They use a lot of Citra, which is, as everyone knows, not something that I'm keen on. But there is, right. They did a couple that didn't do that, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is big flavour in a different format, and it's quite nice. There must be some other craft. I mean, yeah, I can't even say Brewdog really. Like there was the Nottingham Brewdog bar was outside of the Scottish cities in London, was one of the first outside of that, anywhere else. And I've been in there plenty of times and enjoyed it, but I never really was like, this is actually excellent. It was okay. At least it's not terrible. Do you know what I mean? But it's not. Mm. At least it's something. At least it's got flavour. But I was never. This is at the level of the really high end real ales I was drinking at the time. So, yeah, I don't know. I struggled to pin down a specific craft beer, but it wasn't Sierra Nevada because I didn't try that until I started the channel. Okay. And as I said, the reason I quoted for never having tried it was because my mentality was, see American beer in a supermarket, it's probably owned by Budweiser. That was my mentality. I had no idea. I never researched it. I was just like, that can't be any good, surely.
So, Tom, we're of very similar minds, to be honest. We are of very similar minds. I'd agree with you. I mean, I had Sierra Nevada 10 years ago and thought it was good, but I never went back to it. My palate's kind of evolved and changed a bit, and I have to admit that drink is perfection.
It's very good. It's very good.
When I did put the review up on Instagram, there was one comment saying it is the base plate for how all pale ale should be. I couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah. I want to know why. I want to know why so many of them don't get near it.
Completely agree.
Well, my mantra used to be probably 10 years ago, even like 5 years ago, that craft beer was sort of American IPAs, and it was always over-hopped, overpriced, and over here.
Yeah.
To misquote a famous quote, but that's why I never tried Sierra Nevada. I love the bottle label, the bottle art, the artwork was great, but it was always like you say, Brewdog, Sierra Nevada, Beavertown. When they first started out, I'd never bothered with a Beavertown because it looked overhopped, overpriced, and over.
I'm not keen on him. Still now, I'm not.
Yeah,
Doesn't do anything for me.
But there was always that sort of crossover, and I think like Rasko maintains that Plum Porter was that sort of crossover with traditional beers to adjunct beers with some flavour. I would also, to a certain point, put Lincoln Green in that category because they do very traditional beers, but they're happy to do some adjuncts. And I've had Lincoln Green a while back, like that gin and beer. I swear I've had that at GBBF.
This is the thing, you know, but it was the Plum Porter. I mean, I had many, many, many great beers, but I never took note of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when it came to Plum Porter, I thought, I'm taking note of that, and I want that, and I want this to be the base plate for me to just grow, because I felt I wasn't growing in my beers because I just didn't remember what they were. There are so many great beers I had, even the Wetherspoons, right? Wetherspoons has been a great influential note in me, in my drinking, in what I enjoy. Yeah, but it's just that I don't remember any of them. So from Plum Porter, I was like, I've got to remember what these are. And it kind of evolved from what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And that's why we've got the archive on.
Anything I'd put above Plum Porter for that kind of slightly different beers that were just above beers that are just based on, you know, the four main water hops, yeast, barley. It was Titanic Plum Porter was one of the first ones with a slightly different adjunct and a slightly different flavour. The only ones I'd put above that were the likes of Banana Bread beer from Wells, or Eagle as it now.
And I never had that because I really don't like banana. But it was also them that did the sticky toffee pudding ale, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was incredible. That was very good.
Yeah, and probably Young's like triple chocolate.
Yeah, that was one of my favourites as well. Yeah.
Which I think was the precursor to Plum Porter.
Yeah, very possibly. Very possibly. It's got a very similar. It's different flavours, but it's very similar depth profile.
Yeah, background. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that was the gateway.
Well, I've got a funny anecdote with Lincoln Green and the idea of you drink all these beers, but you don't really know, you never remember what you had. That whole idea. And I saw when you got your case, I said, we need to talk about that buttermuch beer.
Yes.
I assume you've not had it yet.
I haven't. No. I'm not going to do it, but
no. Take your time on that one. I want you to take that all in for what it is. But I tried that at the Nottingham Beer Festival probably 5 or 6 years ago, and spent the following 2 years trying to work out what on earth I drank, because it had etched such a thing in the back of my mind, and I have no idea what it was. At the time, I must have had, you got all these beers available, and I just kept going back because it was just straight out of the cask. It was out of this world.
The question I have with that is, like, conversely, I really want to do there's a camera course or a related course of off flavors, and I've always maintained, or I've always understood that butterscotch is an off flavor. I don't understand how, because everybody likes butterscotch. We all remember Angel Delight.
Yeah,
butterscotch Angel Delight is like a great flavor. So how is butterscotch in a beer an off flavor? But if Lincoln Green have bought a beer that is commercially marketable, that tastes of butterscotch, why is that an off flavour?
Well, it can't be an off flavour for them because they actually add butterscotch to the brew.
Right. So I don't. Yeah, that's the question I want to have. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what would cause that. I'm not that au fait with brewing to know, but yeah, interesting. But I mean, no one else really does it. So
true. So yeah, that in that pack, it is butterscotch, it is buttermuch and Old Bailey that I was most interested in trying.
I think I have had Old Bailey, but only half at a beer festival, and it was probably after God knows how many others. So I feel like it's good, but I don't have a strong enough memory of it to really talk about it.
Yes, and also gin and beer. I definitely had gin and beer at Great British Beer Festival in Olympia about 3 years ago. So
I haven't had it because I don't like gin, so I just think it'd ruin it.
The only reason I don't like gin is I hate tonic water, so I'll never drink gin and tonic.
Okay. No, there's a...
We used to have gin and orange. I don't mind gin as a flavour. I don't really know what it is because I never drink gin.
No, I don't like gin as a flavour, so I kind of err away from it. And tonic water is also gross. So for me, it's gin and tonic is bad flavoured thing mixed with bad flavoured thing. Rarely makes a nice flavoured thing. So you know, it's just not my bag. It's not my, you know, it doesn't work for me.
And once again, we've missed. I'm sorry, Jim and everybody. We missed a whole bunch of comments going through because we can't see them coming through that well on the screen.
I can see a couple. And Jim said Young's chocolate stout. Jim, have you had that? Have you managed? Did they ship that out to the US? If so, what did you reckon?
That's one that went to America. I can imagine that, along with like Pride and Fuller's and Young's go quite well out there, I think.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Speaking of actually going down that road, when you were in Aldi, did you notice they've also done a sticky toffee pudding ale?
No.
Ooh. Yeah, I picked one up.
Okay. It wasn't in my Aldi. No, it's not my Aldi, but
no, it was right next. It was right next to the one remaining bottle of their Plum Porter that I liberated. I say liberated, but I mean it's paid for duly. But paid for,
yeah. The one I really was interested in Aldi today was a 750ml bottle, I think, for like £3, and it was a French beer. It was rum spelled RHUM. I don't know what that means. I guess it's the French spelling of rum.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I want to spend £3 on this, but I don't know anything about it. And I'm like, and it had a cork in it and a cage. I'm like, oh, that's good. But I might go back.
I think I saw that earlier. Was that the double?
It was just a black bottle with a cork and a cage.
I saw it earlier. I also looked at it and went, I could buy that, and then I remembered how little room I have, and I thought it'll still be there in 2 weeks. It's fine.
I don't need any more beer, even at £3 for a 750 bottle. And I'm like, oh, really? But also, I found a Tribute for like £1.50. So I'm like, oh, I probably might go back. No, 140. Tribute was 140, and that's better than Aldi. Lidl, Sainsbury's. I'm like, oh, I might go back for that, and I might get the French one as well with a rum cask.
Yeah, worth a go. Are you on the cappuccino stout again, Rasco?
No, I'm on the milk stout, sweet roasted milk. Haven't tasted it yet.
I've not had that actually.
There's a aroma there. It is rather sweet, and I don't think this is me, but I think it's vague, and I do think it's deliberately vague. I find a few milk beers, a bit vague, usually.
Yeah. That's kind of default for the style, though. If you think back, like, what's the purest form of milk stout, like Mackeson's? Like, it's almost intentionally flavourless, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's kind of it's that nod, isn't it? It's that thing.
It kind of is. How to get away with it? Well, I say get away with it. It's just smooth. It's smooth and it's nice.
Yeah.
And I've had one sip, and that's it. It is nice. It's got this kind of roasty thing going on with it that gives it some uniqueness compared to some milk stouts, because sometimes you can't tell the difference. I say, he confesses. There's a Titanic edge to it, and there's a little bit of bitterness at the back end as you swallow. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. To plug a brewery we're championing, the Mad Yank Brewery, who have definitely taken influence from Sierra Nevada. Their milk stout, the George beer, I mean, I could neck within 5 seconds. It's that easy and that smooth.
It disappears.
It literally does. I said that's the best criticism of a beer I could ever give, and they laughed at it and they like it because it literally goes that. It's like drinking milk, but something else. To just recap on the comments, Jim is saying the first craft beer he ever had was Meantime. There you go. That's a revelation. Robert is screaming out his...
I might have to leave now.
That's perfect. I wish I'd known that years ago.
You know I hate Meantime. Oh, fucking... The only thing I like about Meantime is their chocolate porter. It's very good, to be honest.
I've tried that one.
Surprise, surprise. You like a chocolate porter. Really? Is that something new for you to Disco? You like a dark beer?
You know my feelings about Meantime.
No, I don't, actually.
I've wanged on about Meantime and their craft beer. Anyway, they're owned by Big Beer now, so we don't have to talk about Meantime anymore.
I guess not. No. But yeah, here we go. This is nice. No carbonation. I think that's a thing with Titanic. I don't like carbonation.
Let me know if you've got a bottle of the original Titanic Stout behind you, right?
I do.
When you open that on another day, let me know if that was carbonated or not. Because I've had one, and Titanic Stout, if you've ever had it, I'm sure you have, in a pub. It's not carbonated. It's super silky, smooth, whatever. I've had a bottle of it, and I was like, why have you carbonated this? Because you've ruined it. So I'll be interested to know whether I had a bottle that was just got a bit overactive with a bit of yeast left in it. It went too far. Or whether, just because all the others I've had, even the ones based off that, like I said earlier, have been almost flat, which is why I kind of like this brewery so much, because I don't think this style of beer wants to be carbonated. But I was slightly disappointed with the bottle that I had before. I do have one more, which I will try, but interesting to know.
Okay. That is interesting. I'm quite curious myself now. It's good.
Yeah.
Right. That is very satisfying. Not the best milk stout ever, but it's good. It's got its own unique branding on it. And that's what I like about Titanic. You know Titanic when you've got it.
Yeah, for sure. Distinct.
Yes. They may get a nomination for Brewery of the Year.
Ooh. That's big words there. Big words.
It is.
I'd be happy for them to take it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good question then, Tom. What else would be in your... Say you have a 4 category.
I think in terms of... Does it need to be that the brewery's done something particular of note in that year to be nominated, or is it? No,
it's entirely your choice. Because it's such a subjective category. What would be your top 4, top 5 breweries? Because we do this every year. We do this at Christmas, like our brewery of the year, our beer of the year. And it is fairly subjective. Me and Rasco very rarely.
It has to be subjective because there's too many out there.
Yeah, there's far too many. How many would you like me to shortlist? Because I could go on for hours.
5.
How many do you want? You want 5, right? Okay, that's quite generous. Though we can do 5.
Last year, Rasco came when we did the mid-year beer of the year. He came with 13 different beers. So let's just keep it simple and go with top 5.
Okay, all right, top 5. So I'm not going to include Titanic because it's already been mentioned, but otherwise it would have been in there, right? So I'm gonna go the kind of the die-hard real ale trad side of me, and the drink local thing is Blue Monkey in for a shout because I'm enamored with them on that level. I'm going to go completely far-flung and go for one of my favourite Scottish breweries, which is Black Isle Brewery, because I don't necessarily enjoy every beer they create, but I appreciate their versatility and the variety that they do.
Yeah.
And they're an all-organic brewery, which is quite difficult to achieve. Everything, there's no, they grow their own everything almost, which is quite impressive. And their core range, they're very much one of these that has like a dedicated core range, which is a bit more traditional, and then a craft side. And it's just huge scope really from them. Well, it leaves me with 3. So I'm gonna throw Lords in there because since starting the channel, obviously I know John very well. We'll get on charmingly, but I've tried some of their stuff that they were kind of doing a year ago, and then some stuff that they're producing right now, and that like the improvement and escalation in that period of time is huge. I'm like, well, you do that trajectory again in a year's time, and I'm like, I'm only going to want to drink your beer. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that profound? Including doing a load of American style beers that I really enjoy, which is why I'm kind of blown away by it as well, because they're not. It's always about balance, and it's something that they do very well. So 2 more. I'm gonna throw in another Scottish brewery, Brewtoon, which I don't think many people have had stuff from.
No.
They do an incredible Scottish red ale called the Jarl, Jarl, but they do a lot of sour beers. He's going for the stout. He's going for it.
I've just necked the thing. Just you. I want to keep the show down. I want to do it now.
That's
you
fine.
keep talking.
Do it. I'm going to keep talking. But they're one of these modern breweries that do a lot of sour beers. Now, I can enjoy a sour, but it's not my go-to for sure.
100% agree.
Right. But what these guys do, and not every one is the best ever, but they have multiple, really top quality, incredibly well thought out sour beers that, compared to, let's say, the market leaders, and I don't want to name them because I feel like I badmouth them a lot, and they do good beers, but they the price versus the quality is outrageous. There you go, carbonated, right?
Very.
Yeah. I've got no idea why.
When I opened it, there was smoke coming out of it as well.
Yeah.
So there you go.
We need to ask them what's going on, because it shouldn't be, right?
You know what? I think the 3 of us should go down to Titanic. We should do a joint video, and we get them involved and do an interview. We should do that.
Yeah, we should. Let's get them in. Let's get them involved, because that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I need one more brewery. I said there was. I can't. Hold on a minute. I want to keep it all in the UK, by the way, for Brewery of the Year, because we could easily go overseas and pick out something, but I'm going to keep it all at home. One more. Do I go local?
I've just seen a comment from Jim. Rasco, will you wake up with an empty bucket of KFC next to you tomorrow morning? No, not this time. Hey, that's all I can say about that.
It's entirely possible. Oh, this is so difficult. There's so many.
What while you think, I will say the carbonation is dying. Highly carbonated, but it is dying.
So how does it come across when you drink it, though? I think it holds on to it. Right. It did when I had it, anyway. I'm now looking in my beer fridge for to try and pick someone out.
Oh my god!
Oh, I've got it. I've got the other one. The other brewery, and actually this is one of the strongest entrants, is Seven Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the first one.
Yeah, that's what they are. Again, it's another one of those who keep producing pale ales where I'm like, why does not all pale ale taste like this? So
Wow.
that's my final tip, and one of the strongest ones. That's my 5.
My top breweries, and my top breweries do deviate from my top beers.
Mm-hmm.
It's Pomona Island, because they got me to like a sour, and every single beer I've had of theirs is just of such a great standard. They didn't get me to like a sour; they got me to love a sour.
Wow. What was that called?
Oh, fuck! You should have asked me that. Ask me that before. I will get the name for you and I'll send the message.
The only thing I've had from them is their collab with Salt.
Interesting. I don't even know who Salt are.
Okay. Yeah, you should go and have a look. They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed I missed them off my top 5. It's an honourable mention. They're good. Me, John, and Paul did a little brewery tour there a few weeks back.
Really?
And it's documented. It's on YouTube.
Salt or Salt?
Salt, SALT.
Yeah, I know who they are. Yeah. Please.
I was going to say, I'm sure they're in supermarkets and stuff now. I'm sure you did.
Yeah. No, I know them. Next one is a Czech brewery called Albert. Albert or
Albrecht.
Kind of Albrecht. Sorry. They're kind of like in the middle of staying traditional but pushing it forward. Now, when I was down in the Czech Embassy 2 weeks ago, there are Czech breweries, and I questioned them on this, and I kept saying it, and it was a bit silly of me to question them. Like, hang on, with this great tradition of beer, why are you going down like the craft beer market? Why are you doing that? And the simple answer was, like, because we like it.
Because
Albert are kind of like almost 50-50.
Yeah.
Albrecht, sorry. And I admire that. They are pushing things forward. And for me, Brewery of the Year has got to be something that challenges you and challenges your taste and your conceptions of beer.
Yeah.
So that is why I've given it to them. It's going to be a tight one between the two. I haven't found any which would maybe dissuade me. Last year, Omnipolo got it. Did they? No. Mad Yank got it.
Yeah.
Mad Yank got it. Omnipolo got Beer of the Year. Yeah.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
I even make a certificate and post it out to them. So
I'm sure they appreciate it.
Yeah, they claimed they did. They didn't post anything on social media. But yeah, comment from Jim: 7 Brokers Kiev Viking IPA. Oh, that sounds good. Czechs make good pills now. Yes, they do.
Certainly do.
Arguably, they invented it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Tom, did you have all the other Seven Brothers, like the birthday, because they're 7th birthday beers? I know you had the first two, the Jaffa Cake one.
I've had 3. So I've not had the Jaffa Cake one yet, but I've got it.
Okay.
And I'm going to review it soon. I've either reviewed or have in the fridge all of them that have been released so far. I think there's 2 more to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've all been incredible. Really have.
I do like Seven Brothers. I didn't go for the 7 because there were 7 of them and it was too expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they all look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they have been. They really are outstanding brews. It's not a gimmick for the sake of it. They've really put a lot of effort into them.
Yeah,
for sure. Are we staying on for a bit, or are we wrapping it up? And I'm only asking that because if we're staying on for a bit, I'm gonna have to go for a pee.
Well, I was just going to say that I've been for 2. Rasco's been for 1. You're absolute cast iron bladder, sir, because I got peanut bladder. But
we're breaking the edge right now.
Go break the seal. Don't worry. Go for it. We'll cover and come back. We don't have to. We've been on 2 hours, to be fair. So you've done.
It's up to you guys. It's up to you. I'm not going to drink any more anyway. So if you want to wrap it up, let's wrap it up. If not, I'll go for a pee and we'll come back and chat.
We'll wrap it up in the next 10 minutes. We have some final thoughts and final comments. Go for your pee, and we'll have some final thoughts and final comments, and we're out of beer.
All right. Back in a moment.
So take your time. Don't rush, because that hurts.
This is the thing, because like we get guests on Rasco and we just chat, and like, to be fair, Tom, we would just chat. It's like if we was at the bar, we would have an all night discussion, keep checking the burn, and Tom, to be fair to him, we got so much to chat to Tom about.
Yes, indeed. Hello, and Sebastian Hobday. You just joined us. I believe it's the Bermondsey Mile venue. Which has joined us. Hello. I was down at your venue in Croydon and got a bit drunk, and you made me late for this show. But I'm not dissing you for that. I'm actually thanking you.
Your fault for falling asleep, you dickhead.
Well, yes, that was my fault. But at the same time, I'm going to blame you.
I called you for half an hour, Rasco. 35 minutes I was on the phone to you, and eventually you woke up and did the show. So fair play, the show must go on. I can't read any of the comments rolling in at this point. I've had too much fine ale.
You can't. Well, there's not many comments. Hello, someone's just joined us. Yes, hello. I've just waved to you. Hello. I've also had too many beers. We're wrapping up next 10 minutes. You feel free to join us and say hello. Hello.
So that's what you're drinking?
Yes, tell us what you're drinking. We don't actually want to speak to each other, so speak to us. You know.
I love speaking to you, Rasco. It's been 30 years of speaking about beer, so.
I did not drink beer when I was 6 years old.
Oh not that much. No, less. I'm terrible at numbers. Can't do numbers.
Indeed, this is something else.
No doubt. Oh,
I well, I had an echo myself. That's. I don't recall having a stout this strongly sweet. This is an odd one. I mean, this is properly sweet.
I think that's the. So I've got a local that has Titanic Stout on keg as a permanent fixture, and it's wildly different to these bottles.
Really?
Yeah. Hugely so.
I'm a bit perplexed by it, to be honest. I mean, I don't dislike it, but it's odd.
Yeah, it makes much more sense out of the keg. That's all I can say. I think if I'd had it in bottle first, I would have gone, it's okay, but I have a thing about, I really don't like carbonated stouts. I think it ruins it.
I'm kind of leaning towards that logic, because it's a bit all over the place. It says traditional roasted dry. Really? I don't get much tradition out of this.
I don't think it says, but yeah, I thought that was odd on the bottle as well, because even on keg, it's not particularly roasty.
No, it's not roasty. It's got this kind of sweet. It's almost heading towards cider territory, but not quite. It kind of does a handbrake turn and runs away from it.
Yeah.
Wow. What a revelation. Odd one. Glad I've had it.
Yeah. Have you had it before?
I don't recall having it before. A couple of years ago, a pub near me did a Titanic tap takeover.
Yeah.
And it went on for a few days, and I couldn't get enough. I don't believe I might have had this, but I did focus a lot on my cappuccino vanilla one.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have had it, but I don't know.
So what's interesting is you've not got the chocolate and vanilla stout in that box, have you?
No.
So because that was the one that I had first, and that was, if you take away the heavy cocoa chocolate part of it, it's much more true to form to what I know Titanic Stout to be on keg, which is weird. It is based off the same beer, but why it's packaged so differently between versions in bottles is an oddity.
Very strange. Delightful. Delightful. Okay, fellas, let's wrap this up. Final thoughts.
Absolutely. We've done 2 hours. Tom, I have this feeling we could just chat for another 2 hours on random stuff. But
yeah,
it's been one of those Saturday nights. Like, it's been great. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for just bouncing with us and just having these random chats. It's been fantastic.
It's what it's all about. Thanks for having me. Much appreciated.
Yeah,
and I'll try and wrangle you both into coming on the Friday show at some point, because we can go more long form and go even it make even less sense by the end. We'll get it done soon.
Absolutely. The only thing I have about Fridays is, like, tea time. My tea time is different to your tea time, to Rasco's dinner time. So, but we'll come for a chat.
I'm flexible. We can change it up. It's fine.
Absolutely.
The time slot of that show is inherited from what Lords used to do, which was as a result of trying not to conflict with other channels.
Yeah.
So I kept it, but every once in a while you got to stray from the norm and do something different. So I'm not opposed to shaking it up.
Well, one final thing. Are you involved with Lords' charity 24-hour?
Yes, I am.
Thing?
I am going to be. And great segue for a plug that in some weeks' time. And the only problem with doing this on Instagram is I have no access to my computer or anything else to actually go and pick out the date. But it's in about 3 weeks.
9th October.
I can't even look on my phone without killing the connection.
No, yeah. So is it not the 8th? The 8th of October.
The 8th or 9th of October, something like that.
8th and 9th. Yeah, John's asked us to be involved. We haven't got any details on how. Anyone who's watching
at this point, I think we're just looking for people who are willing to come on and talk for a bit, because even though it's not going to be one person doing a 24-hour stream, it's ultimately going to be probably me, John, and Paul taking it in turns to manage the stream, and that's still, 24 divided by 3 is going to be it's 8 hours a piece. So that's a lot of talking. So we need people to come on and help keep the conversation going. Is what we're after.
No problem.
Well, I said to John the other day I was definitely up for that. Even if it's like a really ridiculous graveyard shift, I will try and do that. Absolutely. Yeah. Just to keep going.
Anyone who's up for a graveyard shift will be much appreciated, because we'll all be at it. So
great. I'm glad Disco is. That means I don't have to come on with it. So I'm already passing that on to military veterans who I know. So hopefully we get a bit of support. I always speak to John.
It's the week after next. So next week is the 2nd, and it's the 9th, Saturday the 9th. But it starts from like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 a.m.
The 9th. So that's okay, because.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, as I say, hopefully next Saturday night we've got Raggy on the show. I believe we've got to confirm that.
Yeah.
So we don't actually have anything actually on the show on the night. So we could sort of combine our Saturday night show with that, or we could do it separately, Rasco. We'll have to work that out. But
Yeah.
We will speak about that.
Yeah.
And I think that final plug is a great time to end the show.
Absolutely.
Tom, you've been absolutely banging guest. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be here. And as you say, we could go on forever, but at some point it has to end. And unfortunately, I do have to get up in the morning. So
me too. So, well, I appreciate it because you did say like you have to walk your dogs and do stuff, and you're not usually up when the time we do this. We do time it deliberately because we'd like to be a late night show. We consider this a show, just not a live stream with mates.
yeah.
That's why we're moving to YouTube, so we can do lots more stuff.
The only other question, Tom, quickly is: are the dogs asleep? We haven't seen the dogs tonight.
Yeah, the dogs are out cold in the other room, but that's why I've got to get. That's why I've got to get up because of my shenanigans last night. Finding too many good beers, they didn't get a proper walk today, so I've got to get up early and take them out for a good one tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Then we shall say no more, and I wish you all the best, mate. Be in touch. Take care.
Love to Dictionary Corner.
Will do. Cheers to the two of you. Thank you very much. Been a good one. We'll catch you very soon.
Believe enough to lose control, everyone. Thank you.
Cheers, gents.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.